All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin.
Playing games with my heart, with my heart, with my heart. I should have known from the start, from my heart, my heart. Welcome back to the other side of the coin, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we have our Chelsea back. I don't care what happens. At least we know Graham Potter's gone. It was not looking good. We needed the brother to leave, and he has gone. Kudos to the owners. Kudos to the board that they've made the right decision. Yes, a tad bit late. I think a lot of us knew that Graham Potter was not the right guy, but nonetheless, we've made the right decision after the Aston Villa game. It was untenable. It was absolutely untenable, and it had to happen, and it has happened. So we need to at least appreciate that. Our squad is a very, very good squad. Noted that we do need to fix here and there a few things. Defensive midfielder, perhaps. We'll talk about that, depending on who the manager is. Perhaps a goalkeeper, striker. But overall, the squad has talented footballers, talented players all over the field. Defense, offense, many areas. We've got massively talented players, and a more competent manager can come in and take over this particular team, and they will be ecstatic. They will literally be ecstatic, just the way Thomas Tuchel took over from Frank Lampard. We knew that team was not a bad team, and Thomas Tuchel took over that, and he went on to do a bit of a madness, just a tad bit of a madness. And similarly, I feel like whoever takes over us, mind you, has to be the right manager. We'll absolutely appreciate this particular squad. So look, one thing I really like about the owners is they want success. People talking about project, process. Look, they're all about project. They're all about the process, but it's got to be in regards to you've got to put that all together with wins. You cannot have a project, you cannot have a process without wins. You have to win in order to go along in this particular project and get sustainable winnings down the track. You have to pick up the victories along the way. If you don't, if you have prolonged session of losses and dropping points, none of this is on. So I'm glad the owners are very much focused on bringing titles. They're focused on bringing silverware to this football club. I'm so happy about that. Large part of the fans, there were a lot of people in the fan base that thought that, these owners, they won't be like the previous owners. They'll give a particular manager a lot of chance and they'll be patient. I'm all up for being patient, but you still got to keep winning. No, I'm not expecting every single game to be win, but you cannot have the kind of record that you had under Graham Potter. Look at the new owners. They've already sacked 2 managers in their first 7-8 months of their era. So I'm very, very happy with the new owners that they're all up. They're all about the titles. They're all about the silverware because they've spent a lot of money. That's what it all comes down to, ladies and gentlemen. It all comes down to people have invested a lot of money in this football club. And I'm glad that it's not just some blind, faith in a particular manager, regardless of any, issues with the results. You can keep picking up losses. You can keep picking up the draws. Don't worry. You carry on. You carry on until it happens for you. It could be 1 season, it could be 2 seasons, it could be 3 seasons. No. We cut it. We absolutely cut it. And now we're seeing all these articles coming out saying many players did not appreciate this appointment of Graham Potter. The owners made a mistake with Graham Potter, But I'm glad that they've rectified that. They made a massive mistake with Graham Potter. Do you know what I mean? Point 44, Ms. These owners are not about silverware, otherwise TT stays. Look, I don't completely agree with that. I'll tell you why. With TT, I didn't want him to go, man. I badly wanted him to stay. But even with TT, if the results continued, let's not forget the results weren't that great just before when he got sacked. If the results continued that way, even TT would have found himself in deep waters. The owners didn't get along with TT. Why they chose Graham Potter, I've got no idea. They shouldn't have chosen him. But the fact that they've sacked Graham Potter, and albeit a bit tad late, of course, but I'm sure ego played into it. That's why they hung around. They selected Graham Potter. They invested quite a lot of money on Graham Potter, and they didn't want to, just get rid of him in the first signs of adversity. But the fact that they did get rid of him tells me they are interested in silverware, or else they would have just kept Graham Potter. So they've set a precedent for the next manager that if you don't get results, you'll be sacked. And that's how it should be. The notion of a Chelsea manager should be like that. You don't just come and take over the Chelsea managerial spot and then expect that you can go on a, 5, 6, 7 games losing or drawing streak. You can't. 10 games, when you first start, do you know what? With Graham Potter, the record at one stage, I think now the record is in the last 22 games, 3 wins. Had Graham Potter had at least 10 wins out of 22, I think he still would have stayed. I think the owners would have given him a bit more time. And this is the thing. The new manager cannot have this abysmal record. We understand when you first come in, it's going to be tough. We have to be patient. It's going to take a bit of time. But at the same time, we should get a manager that is somewhat credible. The owner should be on the manager as well to get the best out of the players quickly as possible. These players are not stupid, man. They're not stupid players. They just need the guidance. They need a manager where they can buy in. There's articles that's coming out now saying some players had to Google who the manager was, who Potter was. Some players didn't even know who Potter was. Valen, thank you so much for the super chat. I'm back for the Liverpool game. I'm really excited. Awesome. Look, for the Liverpool game, it's going to be Bruno Salto. I think that's the guy. I'm pretty certain he came from, he was one of the backroom staff members with Potter from Brighton. He was apparently an ex-Brighton player. So, Ishan's in the background. Ishan, how you doing, brother?
I'm happy just like you.
How are you, bro? It's been a long time, man.
It's been some time, and I think so. It's a good time. It's a good time for the comeback. You know what I mean?
It's a perfect time, bro. What's your initial thoughts about the sacking of Graham Potter, bro?
It should have been way ago, man. It should have been after the Southampton game. It's like putting an added pressure on Graham Potter. I think so. It was harsh on him as well, in terms of not in terms of sacking, but then in terms of stretching this whole pressurized situation. You know what I mean? He should have been gone. I think so. We all realize the fact that and we've talked about this a lot of times, as you remember this, that sometimes it's just not meant to be, and this was one of the cases. It's just not meant to be. Even if you try so hard, sometimes it's you're just not meant for the job, and this was one of the cases. So, but yeah, I thought it should have been decide this should have happened after the Southampton game, but better late than never, as they say.
Better late than never, bro. Absolutely better late than never. Valan, thank you so much for the super chat. Regardless who we appoint as the next manager, I'm going to back them because I know Vivell, Lawrence, Winstanley would have done their due diligence. Ishan, few people still, talking about we have to be very careful who we select the next manager. It's a project. We need someone who can stay there for a long time. The new manager is going to come in, and they're once again they're going to have to deal with a lot of players that are not their players. They didn't ask for these players. I feel like, and I want to hear what you have to say about this. But firstly, I just want to say in regards to that is that this whole project, the whole process, it's all based on like you got to win. Project and process. People think that it's just a given. You can have as many losses and as many draws as you want. It's a free hit. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Projects need to be encapsulated with victories as well. As many victories as you can, or else no one will believe in this project. No one will believe in the process. You do have to pick up the wins along the way, much like Man United. Man United, Ten Hag came in and he's doing his level best to pick up as many wins as possible, or else people will not believe in the process. It's as simple as that. Same thing with Newcastle, with Eddie Howe. If Eddie Howe goes on a mad run of losses, he's going to be out of his job. And the fact that people are saying, oh, the new manager is going to come in and they're going to have to deal with a lot of players that they didn't ask for. A lot of the players that we've brought should be able to fit most managers' plan. I mean, Ishan, what do you think about those 2 points? Project, process, and all these players that we've got. Maybe the new managers might not want them.
No, absolutely bang on, Miss. I think so. We've talked about this multiple times that project, process, all these words are applicable only if you show signs of improvements, be it small steps, but it has to be improvements. You cannot come out and say that you're going to have, what was the record at the end, Miss? 3 wins out of 23 games or something?
3 wins out of 22.
My days. That is not acceptable at Chelsea Football Club. As simple as that, Miss. I don't care.
That's Southampton level. That's Southampton level.
Exactly, and that is some relegation. That was actually relegation form, Miss. To be very honest, let's not beat around the bush. If Graham Potter, with this kind of form, he took charge of Chelsea Football Club right from the beginning of this season, we would have been in relegation zone. No doubts about that. And are we of that level? Absolutely not. We shouldn't have been at this state that we are. We should have definitely been at a no tolerance level. Even below 6th position, you know what I mean, in terms of table, if I'd like to speak. So process, project, all makes sense, but there has to be improvements, and there has to be result as well. There has to be the project has to be result based as well.
Yeah.
When we all say project, it does not mean that we want immediate result. It's okay if you don't bring immediate result. Immediate result in mean with terms of trophies. I don't want Premier League right now. But then I can't expect my team to go below 10th just by the name of project, but just by the sake of project and process. I can't see my team, I can't see my team lose, 4 out of 5. You're talking about going below 10th. You know what I mean? So there's a level here, Miss. If you want to have this process, probably with this sort of result, I think so. This is not the right team for you, and that's exactly what happened at the end of the day, where Graham Potter was sacked. So it's okay to come out and say that you're here for a long-term project, but there has to be result attached to it. You're gonna come up to a football club like Chelsea and say, all right, fine, I'm gonna win only 2 games out of 10. That's not the level. I'm sorry. Any manager in the world who comes up, Miss, I don't care if it's a Zidane or if it's a Luis Enrique or if it's a Pochettino or Nagelsmann. If they come up here at this football club and show this horrendous display of result with 2 games, 2 wins out of 10, 2 games wins out of 15, 14, I'm sorry, you're gonna get sacked. It's as simple as that. You might be the greatest manager in the world, but there are levels to it. You know what I mean? And the second thing is, this is one in terms of team and the result and the performance, right? And the second point which you put up is in terms of players. Name me a single player, Maze, that has evolved, that has been better under Graham Potter. You can't name any new player that we've bought, this summer window. I can't even name one single player whom I can come up and say that Graham Potter has made this player better. None, zero.
None, yeah.
It has been all the performance, the good individual performance that we've got. It has all been from the new players. That is quite expected as well. So both the terms, I think so. Graham Potter has failed, and And we knew the level. Like you said, Miz, I've been following all your videos. You've said it right well that at the end you don't blame Graham Potter anymore. It's the owners. You know what I mean? Knowing the fact that Graham Potter is not up to the mark, not up to the level. It all comes down to the owners, why they are not taking any actions. But now we have, so let's see how things goes. But then yes, Miss, I can assure you another fact that if any, regardless of whoever comes in, Zidane, Nagelsmann, Luis Enrique, give me all the names. This kind of performance, this kind of result is not acceptable with any manager in the world.
100% agreed, bro. 100%. This is what I mean. Whoever comes in next, if they go through this Graham Potter style of results, they'll be sacked as well. And that's how it should be. That's how it should be at Chelsea Football Club. You don't just get a free ride. You got to bring in your best. No one's asking for you to deliver silverware today, but you do need to have some sort of dignity for the club, or else you will be chopped. No one is bigger than the club. The club is an elite club. We should be rolling with the big dogs every single season.
100.
And you need to have that mentality. This is a very interesting one. Miz, I told you Ben Jacobs is a fraud. Brother has no connection. Tapping merchant that is just making assumptions based on logic and nothing else. Do you know what? He said that, Graham Potter's going to get Liverpool. There's going to be no change. We have to look out for Ben Jacobs, what he's saying, because yesterday I got a rude awakening, and I want to talk about the other ones. Even Matt Law. Matt Law was talking a lot of BS as well. So we'll talk about that. I'll get into Valance Super Chat very soon. I want to just quickly touch on this. Miz, I rate you, man, but I don't think we still should show some... Miz, I rate you, man, but I do think we still should show some compassion. The guy just lost his job, Nobody likes that. Even if it's ruthless in football, I don't think it's right to celebrate. My man, I love Chelsea Football Club more than any individual.
100.
I'm celebrating because I have my Chelsea back. I have my Chelsea back. This guy was talking a lot of rubbish post-match, man.
Yeah.
Pre-match. He just did. Look, he's a nice guy. I've got no issues with it. I'm celebrating the moment. I'm celebrating the moment that we have our Chelsea back. I'm pretty sure. Don't Eddie, you don't need to be upset about this guy. He's potentially going to get a very good payout. Maybe not the 50 million that was being reported, but he'll get a good payout. And he will also find a very good job right after this in the millions. You don't need to feel sorry for him, Eddie. Believe me, he's looked after. He's very well looked after. What you need to probably worry about is that we got Chelsea back. Balan, thank you so much for the super chat, my man. I don't feel bad for Potter, fourth best paid manager in the world, and the qualities of players he worked with. Plus, he can join Leicester, West Ham, or Spurs. Exactly. This is exactly what I was just saying. Valan, you're absolutely spot on, man. Spot on. Ishan's back on. Take away 10 points won by Tuchel. Chelsea will be on 28 points, and some of these frauds talk about project and process nonsense. Disgusting. Look, project and process, as I said, you can maintain that, but at the same time, it's got to come with wins. No project and process is good enough without the wins. President Jafar, thank you so much for the super chat. The brown envelopes were mudded yesterday, massively mudded. Let's talk a little bit about that. Matt Law was saying, let me see if I can just bring out the Matt Law tweets just quickly. Ishan, I want to hear what you have to say about this. This is where I feel like Matt Law, this guy, bro. This guy is trying to do some madness, this Matt Law. Any chance he gets to do some Mason Mount PR, he don't miss, bro. He do not miss. He will not miss the opportunity.
Oh, my days.
3 minutes ago, let's see what he had to say 3 minutes ago. Chelsea will try to interview at least 5 candidates to permanently... Let me just increase that. To permanently succeed Potter. Nagelsmann, early favorite, but talks likely to sort with reps of Pochettino, Enrique, Spalletti. Spalletti! Whoa! When did that name come out of? Napoli manager. I liked him, man. I've always liked him, and at least one other. We'll talk about all of that very, very soon. Chelsea owners wanted to back Potter and did so for longer than many would have, but you can't keep getting the big calls wrong at the big club, and too many big decisions blew up in his face. A piece on whether the faith of the owners ultimately ebbed away. Of course, it ebbed away, but he said something. Hold on, let me... Here we go. I think this one is, or maybe there's another one. Chelsea sack Potter. Stunt players find out via club statement. Decision led by Stewart and Winstonley. No immediate successor lined up. Chelsea do not have to pay full value of Potter's contract. Would have been. Let me just see a few more. There's one that I wanted to talk about. Not that one. Not that one. Which one was it?
Bro, I was watching your last video that I made a reaction video of Potter getting sacked, and I when you showed that news from Ben Jacobs, my goodness me, I lost my head.
Bro, that guy did a bit of madness. This one, I think this is it. Wrong back three, wrong start, wrong to start Ruben Loftus-Cheek, right wing back, wrong decision to start Mudryk, wrong subs, wrong not to have Oba. There was no defending Graham Potter yesterday. Maybe it was PYS. Hold on, where is? Because I'm trying to find out where. I think it might have been PYS. Let's go to PYS. I really want to bring up this particular tweet. There was so many news that was flying around last night, man. I couldn't keep up. There was so much that was going on. So much that was going on. But I will find it very, very soon. I will find it very, very soon. Yeah, here we go. Okay, here we go. Check this out. Okay, anger was present in the Chelsea dressing room over some of the decisions, and even players who liked Potter feared he was out of his depth. Further goes on to say, Potter's decision made his position practically untenable. Ziyech's start against Spurs set alarm bells ringing, having only been an email away from leaving Chelsea and sending Zakaria on when Chelsea were 2 goals down. And then he goes, the fact that Mount, who scored 2 goals against Villa last time out, was left on the bench was mind-boggling. I mean,
oh my God,
who's saying this? The fact that Mount, who scored 2 goals against Villa last time out, was left on the bench was mind-boggling. Who is giving him this information?
Wow.
Is it him that's saying this, or is it someone inside that's saying all this?
No, I think so. This is Matt Law's
opinion. Is it his opinion? Because he goes on to
opinion,
say anger was present in Chelsea dressing room over some of the decisions, and even players who liked Potter feared he was out of it. Like, is it someone telling him?
I think so.
You know what I mean?
His own opinion.
Yeah, some people are saying it's his personal opinion. It's his personal opinion piece from Matt Law. Okay, fair enough. I mean, this guy. Look, some of these things, I can understand. Like Ziyech, he probably shouldn't have started Ishan. Do you know what I mean? Like he was moments away from joining PSG, so he probably shouldn't have started. Zakaria coming on. I mean, Ishan, all this PR that was happening not that long ago from all the players saying that, oh, I like Graham Potter, he's such a good man and this, that, the training sessions are good. There's a good vibe. I never believed any of that, Ishan, man. I always knew. How can these players actually respect Graham Potter? Did you feel the same way that overall there was actually no respect for Graham Potter?
No, 100% is. How can you be happy with the fact that someone like Ruben Loftus-Cheek is getting to start when we have someone like a Chalobah who can start at the right center back, who has never been given a chance. Chalobah could have started right center back, and Reece James could have started with his a traditional right wing back position. I didn't understand that point. And next, someone like a Conor Gallagher. After Aston Villa's game, I start to wonder, is there something that Conor Gallagher has against Graham Potter? Is there some 18 plus shit that Conor Gallagher has against Graham Potter? You know what I mean? That is blackmailing him to play every single game. I mean, I don't understand the substitutions, man. It is illogical. One of the most illogical things that I've seen. But yeah, I mean, I don't get how the players can be happy with this. The guys who should be starting is not. Aubameyang has been left out. I don't know due to no reasons. when we knew very well that there was a phase when Kai Havertz was not playing well, and there was a huge patch of games like 5, 6, 7 games, near about 1.5 to 2 months where Kai Havertz has been overplayed even after all the bad performances. But Aubameyang was not even being given a sniff into the pitch, even as a substitution. And I think so he's close to leave, but I think so this is one of the reasons. So I don't know how or why should the dressing room be very happy and jolly about this. I think so these were some false news, but yeah, the decisions have been horrendous, and I think so it's all on Potter. It just didn't work out. One thing that we can take away from this is like I told you, like we were talking about when Graham Potter got selected as well, that Graham Potter did not learn or probably did not know how to manage these big egos in the team, in the dressing room. And that's why you have players like Mount in a very not very peaceful position, not very peaceful state at the moment in the club. Aubameyang is going in some different tangent. There are guys like Chalobah who deserves to be played, but did not get selected. Guys like Conor Gallagher, even after poor performances, gets selected and then gets being substituted time and time again. So yeah, man, these decisions are all on Potter. I think so. He had it in his hands to improve it, but at the end of the day, it just went south. So I think so. Whichever manager comes next, it's going to be a very difficult task to bind the group first, to get these guys together, to get the team chemistry on, and then probably we'll look on to results. So what happened here is that's why we were talking about the more better the earlier the sacking comes, the better it is for the next manager to come up and probably adjust into the whole rest of the season, and then probably go on with a fresh start. But the more we delayed into the sacking, the more toxic the environment went in the team, and now the whole unrest situation, plus adding on to that the number of players we already have in the squad, around 30-35, and then after the season ends, all the loanies coming back, it's going to be around 50 plus. Huge headache for the new manager. Huge headache. I mean, it has to be, the next manager have to be on his toes, or else it's going to be very difficult for him as well.
No, 100%, man. Fabrizio Romano, Graham Potter's sacking is not surprising, as the situation was very tense after Villa game. The Chelsea board decided about it the night between Saturday and Sunday with communication to Potter around lunchtime. They decided to change as they felt this group needed different energy. Potter was no longer considered the right man for the job. I think this is a decision we can understand, as the feeling was never so positive on this appointment. The feeling was never positive on this appointment. I think this is a decision we can understand, as the feeling was never positive on this appointment. Do you understand?
Wow.
For all the people that was trying to tell me, oh, nah, man, the players want him. The players are fighting for him, this, that, the other. Even I started believing, when I started feeling emotionally weak, I suppose, I started even believing in this. But I said it for the longest time. No one would have respected this. So I'm not really sure why the new owners, what they saw with Graham Potter, I'm not really sure. President Jafar, thank you so much for the super chat. Potter sacked himself, benching all the strikers. Yeah, it didn't help. Like, I don't know why he abolished Aubameyang. I really don't understand.
Even David Fofana
Even David Fofana was doing good. Exactly right. Don't know why he did that. Graham Potter's main assistant, Billy Reid, has also left with him. However, assistant coach Bjorn Hamburg and Kyle McCauley from the recruitment team are still at the club, with Bruno Saltor, with the latter taking the role of interim manager. Look, I don't expect too much from Bruno Saltor. Like, we'll see what happens. He's just a stand-in manager. Hopefully, look, my preference would be to get a manager as quickly as possible. Obviously, do the due diligence, do the right profiling, do all the interviewing, make sure they fit, of course. But I want someone in quite quickly. So look, let's talk about who is in line. According to The Guardian, Chelsea have drawn up a short list of candidates, including Maurizio Pochettino, and would like someone in place before pre-season. Nagelsmann, early favorite, but Luis Enrique could be considered. Also linked with Oliver Glasner and Ruben Amorim. Ruben Amorim, obviously, we know from Sporting Lisbon. Oliver Glasner, ladies and gentlemen, I've got no idea who this person is. Let me know in the live chat, who is this brother? I've got no idea. Luis Enrique is someone the reason why I prefer Luis Enrique is people downplay this particular brother. Luis Enrique is made for league football, man. He's made for big quality squads. People say, "Oh, even my grandma can manage." Luis Suarez and Messi and Neymar. Yeah, okay. Well, hire your grandma then. Let's see. Do you know how difficult it is to manage egos like Neymar and Suarez and Messi and Iniesta and Busquets and all of those? Do you think it's a child's play? Do you think they just accept any gaffer and they just no? These are big egotistic players, man. They all want to be the superstar. They all want to be the headline hero. It's not easy. And Luis Enrique did it for 3 seasons straight, and he won almost everything with Barcelona. Do you think that just happens by coincidence? Do you think that just happens without any sort of knowledge about the game, without any sort of tactical, application on the game? No. Luis Enrique managed that group, and he destroyed football during that time frame. Last time Barcelona won a Champions League was during that time frame. It's not a child's play, man. It's not some sort of a stupid talk. Luis Enrique knows how to control egos. People will respect that name. Luis Enrique is a Barcelona legend. For people that watched him, I watched Luis Enrique play. Late 90s, early 2000s. He comes from the Barcelona, that product, that style of football. He understands that. La Masia, he understands that. I don't think he's from their. I'm not sure if he's from their academy. I know he did play. He might have even had a stint at Real Madrid and then switched to Barcelona. But Luis Enrique, I could be wrong about that Real Madrid thing, but correct me if I'm incorrect, ladies and gentlemen, in the live chat. Luis Enrique is no joke. Is no joke. President Jafar, thank you so much for the super chat. Potter sacked himself, benching all the strikers. Yeah. In regards to Nagelsmann, let's talk a little bit about Nagelsmann because he is the favorite. But everyone's saying, Matt Law, we are taking our time, thankfully, and the board has left footy people take the decision. 5 named mentioned just now by him. Let's have a look at Matt Law just quickly before we talk about Nagelsmann. Chelsea will try to interview at least 5 candidates to permanently succeed Potter. Nagelsmann early fave, but talks likely to sort with reps of Pochettino, Enrique, Spalletti, and at least one other. Okay, so we went through this. Ishan, let's talk a little bit about Nagelsmann. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about Nagelsmann. Ishan, I don't mind Nagelsmann, Nagelsmann is a young manager. I think he will be very good for a young team like Chelsea team that we have. He'll be respected. I've seen some of his videos, his press conferences and whatnot. He does strike someone like Thomas Tuchel. He's very well spoken. He talks about the game very smartly. He's someone who will stick up for the football club. None of this, that's life and the lads gave it everything. He will actually go after the referees at times if he has to. He tactically, we saw what he did at Leipzig. He took them to the Champions League semi-finals. That's not a small talk, bro. Yeah, Leipzig to take them to Champions League semi-finals. He won the Bundesliga with Bayern Munich. Now, once again, everyone will say even my grandma can win the Bundesliga with Bayern Munich. Still, you need to be able to win. You need to be able to win. And that Bayern Munich team under Nagelsmann did not lose a single game in the Champions League. They won every single game. And they also won 2 games against PSG in the round of 16 before he got sacked. Ishan, Nagelsmann, my only worry about Nagelsmann is his philosophy is a bit mad, man. I don't know if you've watched Bayern Munich too much. Bayern play crazy football. It's possessional play. Like, no one's really set. Sometimes I've seen Nagelsmann have 7 attackers and 3 defenders. And sometimes it might even be a sweeper defender. Some of the defenders even creep forward. And the 7 up front, it's all intertwined. Sometimes you'll see striker on the left. Sometimes you'll see the wingers inside. Sometimes you'll see wingers as wing backs. Sometimes you'll see defensive midfielders as the 8s. Like, it's all possessional play. It's where the possession of the football is. Do you like Nagelsmann? Are you worried about Nagelsmann? What's your thoughts?
Bro, one thing I know about this guy Nagelsmann, yeah, that it's all out attack in it, all out attack.
All out
This
attack.
guy, yeah, this guy does not care if he concedes 2 goals. He's gonna go out there and score 5. That's his philosophy. That's his funda, you know. He doesn't give a shit if he concedes 3. He's gonna go out there and score 5, 6. You know that another one thing, and I do agree to the concern that you have as well. That might be sort of complementing him with the way Bundesliga goes. It might be different ball game around here in the Premier League. We all know what Premier League is. Premier League is a different gravy. But at the end of the day, I like an attacking manager, and Nagelsmann is one of the freaking attacking manager that I've seen. You know, he's a freak attacking manager. All he likes to do is score goals, and that's exactly how it should be. But probably in Bundesliga, like you said, Miss, since it was so possessive style play, so the position was not the main priority to keep players' position. I'd like to say that's why probably Bayern Munich ended up conceding few goals here and there. In Premier League,
I think that's why some of the Bayern Munich players as well, Ishan, they didn't completely appreciate him because Sadio Mane, sometimes he played as a striker, sometimes he played deep, and Serge Gnabry sometimes was a right wing back. Leroy Sané was sometimes a left wing back. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was a bit mad.
100. And bro, a guy like, let me name one guy, Joshua Kimmich, he was
Yes.
all over the pitch.
All over the pitch.
He sometimes I saw a few matches where he was playing in left back. He came down to centre back. He was there as a striker.
It's positional play. It's positional play.
That's although there's a plus point that Joshua Kimmich is that kind of a player who's so versatile, who can do these kind of things, but it not maybe the same case in Chelsea Football Club. You don't have that kind of player. But the thing is, I think so he's going to figure it out, Miz. I think so he's a smart brain guy. He is
he's smart. He's smart, Ishan. He's a smart individual. There's no doubt about that.
100%. He's smart. He's young, and I think so. He can adapt to the situation. He's very passionate about football. We know that. Just like the other German coaches, we saw Jurgen Klopp, we saw Thomas Tuchel. Now we have Nagelsmann. If he comes to Chelsea, I think so. It's going to be an exciting prospect. What I'm excited about is if Nagelsmann comes at Chelsea, I think so. We have that firepower in our team to just rip the teams off, rip our opponents off. I think so. We have that firepower. We have that kind of players. We have that someone like Joao Felix, who's somewhat certain someone he can use it. Someone like Serge Gnabry, what he used to do in Bayern Munich.
I think he'll like Mudryk. I think he'll like Noni Madueke. I think he'll really 100%. Enjoy some of these new players.
100%, man. I think so. We have that firepower. These new guys can do absolutely wonders for Julian Nagelsmann. But one thing is another concern that you can't be so much exposed in terms of your positioning and defense, especially in Premier League, because teams like Man City, Liverpool, currently Arsenal are going to rip you apart if we be that much exposed in our defense. But yeah, I think so. He's a very exciting manager, man. I'd not mind. But Maze, I was on the same page. I think so. I also preferred Luis Enrique above any other manager at the moment. Because I also thought, apart from all the other options, he was the best suited, and in terms of managing big egos, I think so he would have been the perfect fit for us. In terms of Nagelsmann, Miss, just one point, I think so he had a huge I think so argument you like to say, or let's say a big cross with
bit of a fallout, I suppose.
Yeah. Some sort of fallout with Manuel Neuer. I'm not sure if you know that.
I think even with Thomas Müller as well. I feel like Thomas Müller, Manuel Neuer, and some of these players.
What happened with Neuer was that Neuer went out to a domestic game or something where he did not take the permission of Nagelsmann, and he got injured by that. And for that purpose, he could not return to the Bayern Munich squad just because he got injured. And Nagelsmann, was very mad at it. And Manuel Neuer is a club legend, right? He's a huge figure at Bayern Munich, so he couldn't go across that. And ultimately this resulted in Nagelsmann fighting with the board. That's what the news was, for this Manuel Neuer case. But yeah, at the end of the day, probably I think so. He's someone who can manage big egos, but he's a young blood. You know what I mean? So you better watch out. But yeah, I think so at Chelsea. I think so he's gonna do good. I think so. I'm excited. I'll be excited if Nagelsmann joins
Do
Chelsea.
you know what? I'll be happy. I'm not going to be upset if it's Nagelsmann. It could take a bit of time. It may not all click, but I feel like he'll do a better job. And that's what I'm hoping from Nagelsmann. Looks like his relationship with Vivell, his relationship with Lawrence Stewart, it will probably have him as the clear-cut favorite. We'll talk about others as well. But Nagelsmann, he's not some sort of a Mickey Mouse manager. I mean, he does know how to win. I think 2 German Super Cups, 1 Bundesliga, 1 semi-final with Leipzig as well. So this guy's no Mickey Mouse at all. Has got the experience at the highest level. Do you know what I mean? Like more than Graham Potter has had the experience. Simon, thank you so much for the super chat. Enrique's relationship with Messi was really bad most of his time at Barca, with Messi once calling him out before a big UCL match. I mean, look, he still managed to win with all of those players, right? G Glods, thank you so much for the super chat, bro. This is my first ever super chat on any YouTube channel. I just had to. That prayer from your previous video yesterday, you really made my day. Thank you so much, man. I really, really appreciate that. Let's see what else you guys are saying. Mo Nagelsmann loves his number 6. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about this. Nagelsmann was talking about one of the most important positions for him in the football pitch is the number 6 position. And he talks about the number 6 position like a quarterback. And I just tweeted something a moment ago saying that, you know what? The way Nagelsmann talks about how the number 6 is so important for him, someone who can link up the defense with the offense, someone who can control the tempo of the game, someone who reads the game very well, much like a quarterback, like the American sport NFL. I tweeted out that there is no way Declan Rice fits that bill. You can best believe Nagelsmann is not going to appreciate Declan Rice. I think Enzo Fernandez will be a 6 if Nagelsmann comes. I think Enzo Fernandez will link up the defense with offense. He will be that quarterback style of a player. I know some of you guys might not like that. You want him to play a little bit further up. I understand that. He has the quality to do that. But I think he's a very much of a quarterback style of a player, someone who can build up from the back and, maintain the tempo of the game, spray passes from deep, find the attackers. Enzo Fernandez would be the perfect number 6 for Nagelsmann. Now, there are other options. Obviously, there's Romeo Lavia who could do that. I suppose Claudio Kone's name's been thrown around. Ishan, I don't think it'll be Declan Rice if it's Nagelsmann. As simple as that. I think if it's Pochettino, we'll talk about Pochettino very soon. I think if it's Pochettino, he'll probably want someone like Declan Rice. But if it's Nagelsmann, I think Enzo Fernandez, most likely, in my opinion, will probably be the number 6. What's your thoughts?
No, 100%. Enzo Fernandez cements his place if Nagelsmann comes in, and I think so. Yeah, the way he toys with this number 6 also is very interesting to see. If you watch Bayern Munich closely under Nagelsmann, you can see what importance does number 6 hold. He. Just like Thomas Tuchel, I think, so as you would remember, he always used to focus on his double 6, double pivot that we like to call. Double 6 were the most 2 important players that he had.
This comment here is bang on, Ishan. This is what you're talking about, that Bayern Munich.
Yeah, look at that. With DW, DM, I think so that's DM, right? DW? What's DW?
DW with Enzo, I think it means DM. DM with Enzo, he will be like Kimmich. He usually bumps a CB to fill the DM role. The Enzo dominates the midfield. Exactly.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. So well put there, Milo. So I think so. This is exactly what's going to happen, and I think so. Nagelsmann is also going to love the likes of Kovacic. Sure. It should be very interesting to see how Nagelsmann toys between Kovacic, Kante, and Enzo Fernandez. Enzo Fernandez surely cements his place there, but also would like to see, if Nagelsmann joins in, what is the other DM that he goes into the market and fetches? Is it going to be Lavia? Is it going to be Declan Rice? I don't think so. Just like you said, I don't think so he fits in. But who is it going to be? Is it someone like a Caicedo? Another option. So it's going to be interesting. If Nagelsmann comes in, there has to be one midfielder who jumps in as well. Also, what is the status of Mateo Kovacic's future in Chelsea? Is he staying? Is he leaving? What are the long-term plans for Kovacic? So that's another question. But very well, I know the fact that it's going to be very tasty if Nagelsmann comes in and probably shapes Enzo Fernandez and someone like Kovacic or Kante alongside him. It's going to be superb, especially and also N'Golo Kante. We're not talking much about him. But probably he's not at the best of his fitness level at this point of time. But you never know. Once a new manager comes in, the way he shapes this midfield, you never know. It might turn out to be something very good. So yeah, it's you shouldn't be surprised if you go out there and approach. Can we go out there and approach Joshua Kimmich, man? I really want that. Yeah, I really want him at this football club. But yeah,
That
let's
would be
see.
mad. That would be mad, man. And Molly's saying, Miz, even though Spalletti has been spectacular this and the previous season, he's still not an elite manager. Guy has been in management since the last 20 years, but hasn't won much. He's a gamble. I mean, look, of course he's a gamble, but I like what he's doing now with Napoli, the level of players that he has and the kind of football that they play. Napoli is a big opportunity for them to win the Champions League, man. Huge chance for them to win the Champions League. So
Yeah.
look, he's an outside chance. I don't think it'll be Spalletti. I don't know how much English that he knows. That'll be another thing. And yeah, we'll see. Once again, Spalletti will like some of the players that we have. He will potentially want a number 9, and maybe Osimhen then becomes a absolute necessity. But look, I think he's a bit of an outside chance. Pochettino, Ishan, look, some people are wanting Pochettino. I don't want Pochettino for a few reasons. Let me tell you why. One, I feel like he carries that Spurs bottle job gene in him, man. I mean, I like what he's done. No, I'm being serious, bro. I think he carries that bottle job, feeling inside him. And, he's gone to PSG and he's fluffed that as well, Ishan. He fluffed it
Bro,
so
that was
big over there with
mad.
the level
Oh my days.
of ingredients, the minerals he
Yeah.
had over there. He fluffed that.
Oh my days.
I like what he did with Spurs. He made Spurs relevant. Before Pochettino, Spurs were irrelevant. After Pochettino, Spurs became relevant. He worked with. He brought in a lot of young players. He unearthed Dele Alli. He unearthed Harry Kane, and he brought in some really fine players. He took Spurs to the Champions League final. But I don't know if he's capable of winning. Like, I feel like he's going to be another one of those managers that's just going to bottle job. We'll reach to the finals and then we'll bottle it. So, yeah, what's your thoughts on Pochettino, man?
Miss, I didn't want to hit ever. I mean, it's for me. I don't know why it's funny that people are putting him into the list. Probably just because of that Spurs tenure took them into the Champions League final and this and that. Bro, this guy having the likes of Messi, Neymar, and Kylian Mbappe lost the League One to Lille, and they bottled the Champions League. I think so against Bayern Munich. Was he the manager then?
Yeah.
They bottled the Champions League. Regardless, having so many players, he had the privilege to manage.
Real Madrid. I think he bottled it against Real Madrid.
Oh, sorry, yeah, Real Madrid. Yeah, and then he had the privilege to manage guys like Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe, and that was the time when PSG bought all these big guns. They had Ramos, they had Donnarumma, all these guys, and still this guy manages to bottle League One. Forget about Champions League for a second. You managed to bottle League One and allowed Lille to win it. I mean, how could you do that? At least winning the League One for PSG is like a regulation. It's a bare minimum thing. And you as a manager couldn't even win that. So what is the difference between you
John,
and
check
Graham
this
Potter?
comment. This is a really good comment.
Poch finished second in a one-horse race. A specialist in failure. Exactly, Mish. That's exactly what I'm talking about. How can you, having Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe, 3 names are enough to destroy League One alone? How can you have these 3 guys and bottle League One to Lille? That's mad. So that's one of the downfalls. But I don't know people why they reminisce his tenure with Tottenham Hotspur and believe that he's the one who can take us level. I don't want that. I want us to bring winners only. You know what I mean? We've seen already this experiment with Graham Potter. He's not won anything, and probably that's why he has no idea how to manage these big egos in the team, and probably capitulated in the whole Premier League run. Again, we would have done the same mistake with Pochettino. One, he's regarded as one of the best Spurs manager in the last 10 years. And he comes to Chelsea. It's a huge mismatch right from day one. Second, he's not won anything. He's not won anything. So, and we just find winners. We need winners, or else it's a Chelsea thing to win trophies. And if you're not with teams like PSG, I don't think so. I don't think so. It's a good match. I would rather go out and take someone else, for sure.
100%. Let's check out some of the latest to wrap things up. Nottingham Forest away, down from the stands, went a member of Chelsea's backroom team to double check with Potter if any part of the tactical setup they had been working on all week had changed. It hadn't. Instead, Potter and his coaches concluded this was a team doing not what they were told, but what they wanted. Look, I do in some way sympathize with Graham Potter, because our owners and our board, the madness that we did in January, which was fantastic as a fan, but we did throw him in the deep end with all of these players. I mean, Ishan, do you agree that the circumstances were probably not that great for Graham Potter? Like, it was a squad of 35 players. Like, that was always going to be so difficult to manage. Aubameyang, celebrating with Barcelona, Mason Mount now in the mud. Players like Ziyech, who were just minutes away from being in PSG, comes back into the team. Mudryk is getting so much attention. I mean, it was not. I don't think we made it easy for that guy. Really, we did not make it. And I feel like we did interfere. Like, there was moments where we saw some articles that were saying that the new owners really don't want to see back three. They want to see a back four. But Graham Potter built his whole status in Brighton with a back three. Predominantly, he played back three. Yes, he did play every now and then a back two, but it was all set up in a back three. Ishan, do you somewhat sympathise that, and the owners and the board in January really didn't help him out either?
Now, 100% Miz. I think so. That's bang on. Just name me a club, name me or any transfer window where Graham Potter's team was allotted around this many players. How many did we buy in this winter? 6, 7? I don't know.
6, 7, something like, we lost count, bro.
Bro, 6, 7 probably might be the amount of players he signed forever in Brighton. Overall in his tenure, he might have signed 6 to 7 players. We signed that much in just one window.
That's mad.
You know what I mean? It's not easy, and he's not someone like a Jose Mourinho or someone like an Ancelotti that knows how to manage this, or knows how to manage a huge squad. He's coming from someone like a Brighton, where he does not have that first. He does not have that much pressure of finishing top 4, right? Do you think Brighton has the pressure of finishing in top 4, top 6? No. Do you think Brighton has ever a pressure in performing in the Champions League? No, they've never been in the Champions League as far as I remember. Third, what is the total squad strength in Brighton? Surely not going to be 35 and 55 in the coming end of the season. Never. It's the maximum that he has to handle. It's not easy. It wasn't easy. Fourth, big egos. He's already managing. He in Brighton, he just had to manage someone like Trossard, McAllister. That's it. Tops. Here it's all these. We have the already Champions League winners, the already big names, the big guns, the big money players. It's not easy to manage the guys on the screen that you're watching. It's not easy. It was already difficult for him. He made it more difficult by virtue of his decisions. That's a different thing. But it was already difficult for him, And there has to be a transition in a phase, even in manager's life. How could he expect someone like a Graham Potter, who's managing Brighton, where every expectation was low, every player's, the whole level of the football club was low, come to a Chelsea and do it in a bigger stage, and that too instantly. Probably we had the wrong decision, and then I wouldn't blame the management and the board and the owners to pick Graham Potter. I think so. He deserved a chance. I think so. You'd also agree with the fact that he deserved a chance bigger than a Brighton football club. I think so. I wanted him to go to a bigger club, but the mistake where happened was our owners giving him that 5-6 year contract. That was bad. That was just poor. How could you not get this fact that someone who's inexperienced at this level, someone who's never managed in the Champions League, Champions League level. You can give him a Chelsea Football Club for 5 years to manage. That was the biggest mistake that our owners did. Or else probably the decisions goes bad. It's okay for Graham Potter also. It's an experience probably, but he'll sail onto his next ship, go into a different football club, and probably learn again. He's going to do again. Why? Because the whole ecosystem would be different there in a new football club. In Chelsea, it was very difficult. It was, like I said, it was just not meant to be. So it didn't happen. It's a learning experience for Graham Potter, but I hope our owners also learn from this whole situation, that someone who's inexperienced in this huge ecosystem, huge structure of a football club, to give them such a long years. It's a huge headache. Miss, I'm sure of the fact that if Graham Potter had not 5 years, but probably 2 years, 1.5 years, the sacking would have gone long ago.
True.
Yeah, and we wouldn't have perished this long. By now, Miss, there would have been a new manager already trying to settle into the Premier League and probably getting us towards top 6 or top 4 already. But now it's probably late. But like I said, better late than never.
Now, you know what? Whoever the next manager is, hopefully does not get long-term contract, maximum 2 years, 18 months to start with. And then we'll see. If you can perform well, then you keep getting the extension, 1-year extension. That is all. No, none of these 5-year contracts. It doesn't work like that. So I'm glad the owners have understood this, that it was a mad thing to sign someone up for 5 years. Graham Potter must have looked at that contract and he must have felt like, wow, this is brilliant. I've just hit the jackpot. No way this is happening to me. But there's some rumors, there's some articles that are out. Apparently, Chelsea don't have to pay the remaining 50 million or so in severance. They have come to a compromise. We don't know exactly what the compromise is. So we'll figure that out very soon. But even if we do get Nagelsmann, we do need to pay out Bayern Munich. So there is that sort of transaction that needs to happen. Bayern Munich, they do want Anthony Barry as well. So maybe we can do a bit of a deal. We'll see what happens because Nagelsmann is still contracted to Bayern Munich. They need to. Bayern actually did the same madness as us. They also gave Nagelsmann a long-term contract as well. So all of that is in motion. Football CF Candy, thanks so much for the super chat. Miss, have you seen Nagelsmann DM vid Lavia in June? Yeah, I think that's the one where he talks about the DM needs to be a quarterback. I think that might be it. Valan, thank you so much for the super chat. Funny how the reports are Winston and Stewart doing the search for a new manager and no mention of Vivell. Maybe the board wants a fair assessment. Maybe. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap things up over here. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. Look, I may do more lives and other videos throughout this time because it's a mad time at the moment. So you may see a lot more content coming through. As the news drops, you will see things delivered in this channel left, right, and center. You'll be updated on a regular basis because it is hectic moments at this current situation at Chelsea Football Club. So we'll be all well informed throughout this process. So yeah, smash up the like button before you go and subscribe if you're here for the first time. We shall see you guys very, very soon. See ya.